Welcome to RayPresents. Today's guest is the WBC Canadian Amateur Muay Thai Champions, Tayler Kelly. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Ray. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for being here with me. Congratulations on your win. How do you feel?
I feel great. I took that fight on short notice, so I
Oh, is
didn't
that right?
have much expectations for it. I didn't have much time to prepare for it, so I kind of just went in and did my thing, had fun. It was great.
Wow, short notice. How much short notice did you receive?
It was less than a month. I think it was a little bit like 3 weeks, maybe 3 weeks notice.
Wow, that's crazy. Usually, how long, do you need to prepare, to prepare for a fight?
So I like to stay ready, so I don't have to get ready.
I like
So,
that.
but I know what fights I have all the way up until June 22nd. I kind of know what I'm doing. So I have a fight coming up at the end of April. I have a fight June 1st and a fight a tournament June 22nd. So I kind of know where I'm fighting
Yeah.
and when. Sometimes things fall through, obviously, but yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. So, can you tell me about the journey that led you through to Muay Thai?
Yeah. So as a kid, I was pretty athletic.
Hmm.
I always played sports, loved soccer. In high school, like did all the sports. And then I herniated a disc in my back in high school, and it kind of got progressively worse. At
Wow.
first, they thought it was growing pains, and then they thought it was because I was athletic, I was getting pains. And then I needed an MRI, and long story short, in university, I didn't do anything. I just focused on school, lifted weights here and there, but really didn't do much athletically. And then the pandemic hit, and I gained a lot of weight. I gained 50 pounds and was, you know, pretty out of shape, pretty unhealthy. I went to Newfoundland and was pretty disappointed in like how I was feeling with all the hiking and walking. And I was like, man, like I'm hurting from these hikes. And I was like, I need to do something. And I was actually like, I can remember the conversation with my mom. We were in the car and driving, and she was like, you need to just find something you love. And I'm like, you know what, I've always wanted to try? I've always wanted to try kickboxing. So I signed up. I actually canceled the first time I signed up. I was like, I scheduled an appointment to go, and then I canceled it. And I was like, okay, no, now I really have to go. Um, and so I went and I stayed at that gym for a bit. That's how I found Muay Thai. I Googled kickboxing, and it took me to a Muay Thai gym. So I was at that gym for a little bit, but that gym was really expensive,
Hmm.
and I made a decision to move out. So I ended up switching gyms for the first time. And then, yeah, I've been to 3 gyms, and to finally find my home now. This is the third gym that I've been at in the past 2 and a bit years. Yeah, two and a half years almost that I've been doing
Wow.
Muay Thai now.
Wow. In a short amount of time, you're able to reach the levels you're reaching right now. Sky's the limit.
I love it too. It helps when you love it, right? It doesn't feel
Of
like
course.
work when you enjoy it.
Good for you. Good for you. So you mentioned about being a former competitive soccer player, right? So I think that's fascinating. How does the experience from soccer, help you with Muay Thai?
Yeah, so I loved soccer also. Like when I was a kid, I was like, I want to be like Christine Sinclair. I
Yeah.
was very motivated, very competitive, and I think that translates well. Also, like I love to learn from coaches, and I think, I take pride in being coachable.
Hmm.
So it helps with the learning a new skill, right? If you're willing to learn from others and willing to be a beginner and these things. So yeah, I think it translates well because being coachable is a skill that you learn, and I had a lot of that in soccer.
Hmm.
I started soccer kind of like later than all the other girls on my competitive team. So like they had been a team by themselves for a few years before I joined.
Hmm.
So that helped. Like I was used to being new. I'm used to being kind of the person who doesn't really know what's going on. So starting a new thing when I was in my 20s wasn't as intimidating, I think.
Okay, so if you're a fast learner, as we can tell with what you've been able to achieve it in Muay Thai. Uh,
Thank you.
so what I find really fascinating with you is that you were doing all this, learning Muay Thai while as you're studying, right? So
No, I had
no,
graduated at that point.
you graduated at that point. So
Yeah.
tell me about your undergraduate studies in biology and psychology and how it intertwines with your fighting.
I've always, yeah, been fascinated with physiology, and my favorite class in university was human physiology. So I think it makes sense now that I'm a personal trainer.
Mm-hmm.
I loved that. And I loved psychology. So I started out in health science thinking that I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to be a doctor. And then I realized it was more sick care, not health care. And I kind of made a shift to like, no, I want to like help people get healthy, not prescribe them something when they're already sick. So
Mm-hmm.
I kind of shifted to biology, not knowing what I wanted to do, just knowing that I was interested in physiology and interested in how the body works. And then in third year, I decided to get my minor in psychology because I took a neuropsychology class that I absolutely fell in love with. I
Uh-huh.
loved learning about the biology in the brain and how things work in there, and just like the placebo effect fascinated me, and things like, you know, things of that nature, of how powerful our mind is, that a placebo can help our symptoms, and like the nocebo effect, and how people can actually get the symptoms of the medication they think they're taking without taking the medication. I was just completely fascinated by that stuff. And so that's why I decided to go to psychology in third year. And then I ended up graduating, yeah, with a major in biology and a minor in psych.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. You mentioned something that really caught my attention. You said, how powerful the mind is, you know, using that into your fighting. Can you tell me, how that helps your preparation when it comes to fighting?
Yeah. I mean, I was talking to somebody in the change room yesterday after training about how I feel like our sport is 100% mental. The training, deciding what you're going to do and just doing it. Like, I decided these are the days I train, and this is what I do, and this is when I lift, and this is when I run. And that's all mental, right? That's all mental preparation. The body's going to hurt, and it is what it is. Like, Muay Thai is pain. You hear a lot of people in Thailand talk about like Muay Thai is pain. It's a sport where, we use our body as a weapon. So um, having that, like, okay, this is mental, helps me overcome maybe the physical that I would have just been like, oh, it hurts too much today, I'm not going to do it. And it's like, hurts too much compared to what? Like, just thinking about this sport as like a mental game and about mental toughness. One of my coaches actually gave me a book on mental toughness. It was like mental toughness training in sport, and it's written by a tennis coach. But it translates to Muay Thai very well. In that, like, yes, you can overtrain, but you can also undertrain. And if you want to go far, you have to be in that sweet spot of not overtraining and not undertraining, and that's like mostly mental. It's like, are you recovering? Are you, getting social time? Are you doing other things outside of it? Or are you obsessing over it? Are you like, how are you perceiving what you're doing is
Wow.
important.
It's something I always wanted to ask a fighter such as yourself is I often see, fighters, obviously they want to win, before a fight, right? And how do you go from, all right, wanting to not, well, I guess destroy the opposition, to right after the fight you see hugs and kisses and it's all respect. Teach me or tell me, or people like a person like myself or another person who's not used to this type of, atmosphere. How do you go from, all right, I want to really like whoop your butt to, the respect aspect of, after the fight?
Not many people get in the ring. We all know that. And it's one of those things, like, we both know how much work it took to get to that point.
Yeah.
So it's like you're doing your opponent a disservice by not giving it your best. You're doing
Hmm.
yourself a disservice by not giving it your best. So we both know that we're giving it our best, and it's just like, no one really understands unless you're like in there. Of course, like, there's I've even seen like the amount of smack talk before a fight between two people, and then the hugs after still, because It's just like you have to be in the mindset of like, this person killed my dog, or, or you're not going to want to lay down. And then at the end of it, it's just like, I know how much work you put in. You know how much work I put in. Like, respect,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought that was fascinating just to see how quickly it switches from, okay, I
The bell
really,
rings.
you just, you just kicked my face and now, I'm hugging you.
Yeah.
For an average person like myself, it would take a few days to say, okay, call me next week and I'll
We'll think
congratulate.
about it. Yeah.
But listen, give me an example of what, you spoke about your training. Give me an example of your day. What's the day like for Taylor Kelly?
Yeah, so I train people in the mornings.
Yeah.
My like regular work hours are 6 to 2. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
a personal trainer and a nutrition coach. So I have people, sometimes I have big breaks where I'll do my weightlifting in between clients because I work at a gym, which is super convenient.
Mm-hmm.
So I lift weights 3-ish times a week, run 3 times a week, and then train Muay Thai, what is it, 5 days a week? So those are like average week. Like I have a rest from Muay Thai, and on that day usually I'll lift. And if I'm taking a rest from lifting, maybe it's a heavier Muay Thai day. But before, like my getting ready for my first fight, I used to train Muay Thai twice a day.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, I wasn't lifting any weights. I was running, but not like right now I'm training for a half marathon, my first half marathon. So I wasn't running as much, pushing myself. So when I've got more into the running and more into the lifting and more into the strength and conditioning side of things, it kind of took a step back from training Muay Thai twice a day or 6 days a week even. And so now I take, 2 days off from Muay Thai, and I just find it helps with like the mental part of like when you don't want to go to the gym for a stretch of time.
Mm-hmm.
If it's just set in stone and it's reasonable, it's like, okay, I can do it. But when it's like, oh, I got to go twice today and I don't want to go at all, it's like that much, harder.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing. So tell me about, for that last question I have for you is basically, obviously as a woman, in this space, in the fighting world, that it comes with its unique experiences. Could you share some of the challenges or some of the triumphs you've had within the sport of Muay Thai and how you've navigated them?
Yeah. So I kind of found the gym that I'm at by chance. It wasn't a gym that was really on my radar when I was looking around.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so happy I did because this is the first gym that I've been at where like the co-ed classes have so many women in them. A lot of co-ed classes at gyms that I've been to, they have one or two women, and sometimes I was the only woman. Like I've been the only woman in classes before.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it doesn't bother me, but I could really see how it would bother others.
Mm-hmm.
As a personal trainer, I'm really comfortable in a gym, so but I can see how it's different being a woman in this sport. I'm so happy I found, like, definitely a triumph was finding this team. We are going to the kickboxing nationals tournament in Niagara Falls, and there's 6 women and 1 dude. And like that's unheard of for our sport. So I'm really happy that like the team of women that I have around me I have right now. Because yeah, I've been in the position of, all male coaches, all male class, all male teammates. And yeah, I mean, it's so much better when you have boss ass women like doing it right next to you. So I would say like for women interested in trying, like find a gym that has a solid group of women. You can really tell how welcoming a gym is and how good the environment is based on how many women are there and like comfortable. If women are comfortable showing up there, it's a green flag.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Listen, what's next for you? Because we have your fights lined up until past June. Well,
Yeah.
what's the goal for you? Where do you see yourself in the next 2 years, 3 years?
I definitely want to make it out to Thailand to do some training there.
Okay.
Fighting there would be awesome as well. Getting some pro fights under my belt definitely is like the goal. Um, yeah, I just want to be the best I can and inspire others to like, start something. Like it's easy when you see somebody who's been doing it since they were a kid, excelling at it, and it kind of makes you be like, oh, well, they've been doing it since they're a kid. That's why. I started this when I was 22, and like here I am, a couple years later, and still at it and still loving it. And it's just kind of like, yeah, I want to inspire other people to start something and like and go through with it and try it. And like even though I never intended 3 years ago to compete, as soon as I tried it, I was like, yeah, this is it. You know? So you don't know until you try.
That's right. Hey,
Yeah.
listen, Taylor Kelly, thank you very much for your time. I wish you continued success. You're doing an incredible job.
Thank you, Ray.
It's great to watch you win all these tournaments. Listen, like I like to end things like that way. Is we learn today and we lead tomorrow. So thank you very much.
I love it. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you.